Hey everybody, what's up? So today we are back and I'm going to show you a couple of properties I mow that have some pretty steep embankments and ditches on them. I did get some interesting comments on another video I posted where I was mowing out a ditch. Just wasn't even highlighting the fact that I was mowing out a ditch, just it happened to be what it was. And some people had some interesting things to say. So I figured I'd just make a video to show y'all how I ride these ditches, what I do on a weekly basis at some of these properties, and how steep they can get and what it looks like to do that. I will say that, you know, this can be dangerous, and I never want anybody to put themselves in a situation where they could get hurt or not go home at night. You definitely have to be in tune with your machines. All right, so this first embankment here takes me about 3 passes to get mowed out on my Super Z. I usually don't try this one on my Toro because of the short wheelbase. It's hard to tell in the videos, but this one is pretty steep, so depending on what the moisture content of the ground is, I may or may not try to mow out this top stripe every week. Sometimes I weed eat it because safety is definitely my biggest priority. I have 2 kids and a wife at home. I want to make sure I go home every day. I measured this one here. It's about 35 degrees at the steepest part right here by this hedgerow. This week was pretty good. The ground was very dry, so I was able to make it all the way across with the Super Z and didn't have to weed eat anything this week, which was nice. All right, so this is one of the rare ditches that I mow out where I actually mow the discharge chute facing down. I normally don't like to do that in the steepest part of the ditch. As you can see, after 10 plus years of mowing this thing out every week, it unfortunately does have some pretty nasty ruts in it. All right, so these next couple of ditches are actually all at the same property. The property is a corner lot, and it is surrounded on 2 sides with these steep ditches. All right, so unfortunately the camera's playing a big trick on y'all with this one. There's no way I could set the camera up to show you exactly how steep this gets, but on this pass run coming back at the camera here, to my left, the ditch drops off really steep, and if I were to actually get down in there, there's no way I could climb the mower out before I got to the culvert. All right, so these 2 clips here will finish out the ditch that I mow that surrounds this corner property. This gets pretty steep right here, and you can tell because when I turn, I do lose traction on the rear wheels. Big helpful hint that I always tell everybody is that when you're on a steep embankment and you zero turn to go the opposite direction, try to always turn with your caster wheels down into the ditch. It's a lot safer that way and a lot less chance that you might flip your mower over backwards if you do that. Also, unfortunately, you can see in this clip there are some rocks, and I do catch one of them right there with the mower. All right, so just like the other ditch that I mowed out earlier in this clip, you can see I've got some sacrificial ruts that I used to get down into this ditch. It's loose dirt and fine rock right here. This is by the customer's mailbox as you go down into the ditch. There's no good way to get into this ditch without losing traction of some sort. I've even tried to back the mower down in there, and it still slides and worsens those ruts. Once again, on this one, there's a lot of kind of rock dust and debris. I didn't necessarily hit any rocks here. It's just so dusty from how much fine rock there is on this ditch. So that's all the white cloud of smoke you see coming out from my discharge here on the mower. All right, and lastly, this is the clip where I actually did the worst on a ditch this week. It was really dewy at this time of morning, and I normally don't get the mower all the way down in this ditch. I normally climb out about halfway back here, but it was pretty wet, and I didn't make it out of the ditch in time, and you can see that the mower slides down in there, and I actually throw a pretty good roost there with the back tire. All right, so that's just a few snapshots of the ditches and embankments that I mow out every week. All of those were filmed on my Hustler Super Z. The next time that I mow them out, I'm going to film me doing it on this Toro Z Master here. I usually do prefer my Hustler Super Z when I'm mowing out like hills, embankments, ditches, whatever. I'll touch more on that later in another video to explain the differences between these 2 mowers and why the Super Z handles hills a lot better, generally speaking. As you can tell, I'm not perfect. A lot of those ditches have some ruts from long time wear and tear of me mowing them and getting into them. The customers are super understanding. It's not something that bothers them, so I'm very fortunate there. And also, you can see that unfortunately there is some rocks in those ditches. Some of them have riprap, some of them have small rock. And I did hit 1 or 2 in these videos. It doesn't happen often, but of course it did today while I was filming. That's just part of it, part of the business, so you try to avoid that, obviously, but sometimes it happens. So like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning every day. I've been in the business for a while, and you know, I don't know it all. So every day usually teaches me something new, and I think it's good that you're always learning and always growing in this business.